Here we go now.
Welcome back. Long time no see. Okay. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. This is our weekly recap of Married to Medicine Season 12, Episode 2. If you could rate it, how would you rate this week's episode? Live chat. If you're watching on YouTube, there's an option to vote in the live chat poll. Shout out to our King's Guard. Shout out to our channel members. Shout out to our subscribers. And those of you that are watching in the bushes, thank you already for 78 likes. We appreciate it. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video, be sure to share the video, and be sure to subscribe. It is a subscribers only live chat. Married to Medicine, or if you saw my recap last week, the premiere episode was kind of Not kind of, it was definitely I was yawning the entire recap. No, I'm playing. This week's episode, dare I say, because Dr. Heavenly was back, made it a little bit more interesting. A little bit. But I do find it interesting. Dr. Heavenly said that she wasn't able to film for weeks because Bravo was figuring out her contract because she was running for public office. At this particular time, she was running for state representative. By now, you probably saw that she's running for Congress now. So I think she knew she was going to lose, because when I went down to Atlanta and I asked the people that actually know the other candidate that she was running against, state representative, they said no, they actually liked that state representative. I think the Congress position, if anything, never mind. But speaking of Dr. Heavenly, this starts off, they start off this episode talking about Dr. Heavenly. Dr. Heavenly is in the opening scene along with Toya and Eugene talking about her running for office. Thank you, Miss Brooklyn Diamond, for donating, or gifting, I should say. Thank you so much for 10 memberships. So be sure to thank Miss Brooklyn Diamond. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate your support, Miss Brooklyn Diamond. She just gifted as well 10 memberships during our Real Housewives of Potomac Live. So thank you for that. So let me get into this. So Married to Medicine, Dr. Heavenly. Dr. Heavenly, when she speaks to Damon Daddy, Dr. Damon Daddy, that is, when she speaks to him about their son, Buddy, and how he was arrested. Apparently, this happened back in 2022. We found out about it. What was it? Last year we found out about it. And then she first of all, she was denying it. And then she came to social media to confirm it, that he did, in fact, get arrested and apparently drove towards a police officer. So we've talked about this story before, and I told you I thought it was very convenient that this is the season that she's stepping down being full-time. She claims that the reason why she's not full-time was because she ended up filming so late because she was running for political office. They couldn't figure out her contract, yet she's in episode 2. And look, we get it. The way that they filmed, they could have wrapped up pretty much all the garbage from the beginning of the season, or maybe they just inserted her scene in episode 2. All of that is possible, maybe. But I don't know if I believe that. I think her stepping down from being full-time means when you're friend of the show, you really don't have to share too much about your life. Yes, she shared a little bit about the situation, but a lot of you have been critical of Dr. Heavenly not sharing her life and being a full-time cast member of the show. So I lean on believing that the reason why she decided not to be full-time this season is so that she didn't have to talk too much about her son's situation. But based off this scene, apparently Dr. Damon Daddy never told her about this arrest. She claims that he never told her. He says, well, it wasn't like it was months and weeks or years before I told you. And she's like, but daddy, this happened in 2022. It was years. You just told me. I don't believe her. I believe Dr. Damon Daddy. But if Dr. Damon Daddy could keep a secret from 2022 and you just found out in 2024, 2025, does he have a bunch of mixed babies running around here with the last name Combs? I need to know. Because if he's possible of keeping a secret from you, I don't believe it. I believe Dr. Damon Daddy. I believe Dr. Heavenly wants to act as if she didn't know. Hence why it never came up on the show. But okay, we'll run with it. But daddy. It's a whole other personality when she's talking to Dr. Damon Daddy. But daddy, you know, we're public figures now, and you see what happened with Buddy, and you didn't tell me. I don't believe that. I think he ran with the narrative. Okay, we'll act as if I didn't tell you. And he's like, but it's not like I didn't tell you. It's not like I didn't tell you, months, years. But daddy, it was 2022. We're in 2025. Okay. Alexandria says he went along with the script. Somewhat. I don't think he kept up with the script. The part of the script that he didn't keep up with was the time frame. Deborah says, and the Emmy goes to, all right, let me pull up my Emmy. And the Emmy goes to, definitely not Heavenly. I need to give this to Dr. Damon Daddy. Not Reese says, OMG Kempire. I tweeted about that earlier. And the Emmy goes to me for my impersonation of Dr. Heavenly. Goes to me. Because that scene, I was like, oh, this is giving force and fake. This is giving plot and plan. This is giving a scheme that Todd set up for Dr. Heavenly to come to us with a political career. And BS. I don't believe it. But this whole personality where she's, the doting wife and she's not a monster sometimes. You know what I mean? She's like, but daddy. but daddy. But you didn't tell me. And he said, but I did tell you. But no, this happened in 2022, daddy. What? Dita says that Heavenly goes from gutter snipe to submissive wife in seconds. But daddy, and then the end of the episode, she's like, oh, Toy, you want to keep my son's name out of your mouth. Well, what we find out in this first scene is that Dr. Heavenly was Dr. Heavenly and with Buddy, and Buddy was just like, I'm out of this damn house. I'm out of this house. So we find out that her son moved out, but it probably was time for him to move out. Didn't he graduate college already? So he moved out. Apparently is not talking to Heavenly. She must have cussed him out, what we've seen of her. And now he's not at home. Okay, wait, hold on now. Look, hold on. Wait, hold on. I don't know if I believe that either. Dr. Heavenly is keeping us from the truth. My speculation is that's the story, that he's not at the house. But he's not at the house probably because she doesn't want him to have to lie on camera. She doesn't want him to have this play out on camera or have him address it on camera. So he conveniently moved out of the house that we know of. She's like, but daddy, can you have him come back to the house? I miss my buddy. I miss my baby. Okay. Exactly. Leah says hashtag Team Daddy. Because she puts that on every tweet. So now, at first, I was like, wait, she cussed him out, and then he left the house. She hasn't talked to him in months, she says. She hasn't talked to her son. She says she hasn't seen her son physically in months. I think it's a scheme. The V-Life says, I ain't buying it. I believe he hasn't lived there in a little while. Right? So I don't think that she has not seen him in months. I think she just doesn't want him to say anything about this. She doesn't want him to have to address this on camera. She decided to step on down this season. It's a scheme. It's a scheme. T says, I don't believe anything Dr. Heavenly says. Honestly, it's what they're not talking about that makes this more interesting. And then she's like, but Daddy, can you make him come home? He's like, I can't make him come home. But I miss Buddy. I miss him. Who is this? Who is this personality right now? She got more fever for Toya than she does in this situation. Dina says he took his Infamil and ran. Oh, okay, hold on. Markel says, hold on. Markel, thank you so much for 2 super chats. Markel says, I almost see when they're talking about their son leaving. I almost see when I almost see when they were talking about their son leaving. And then, oh, you said, I meant shed a tear. You almost seen her shed a tear? I think Heavenly, again, should we give her the Emmy? Or should I give myself the Emmy? I think she wanted, that's why I almost believed it. That Dr. Heavenly, that the son and her, there's something going on, and that's why he's not at the house. She hasn't seen her son in months, she claims. Maybe that part of the story is true. The timeline of the events, her not knowing, Dr. Damon Daly not telling her, I don't know if I believe that. Okay. Leah says, Kempire, just say life is like a box of chocolates. That's what you're serving us. Well, that's what she was giving us. Okay, that's exactly what she was giving us in that scene. I mean, look, she was very convincing. It did, like Markel said, I feel like she almost shed a tear. She didn't, though. She didn't shed a tear. But okay, yeah, okay. Dr. Heavenly, I know you watch. Dr. Jamie Daddy, I know you don't watch. Show it to him, Heavenly. I need you guys to work on your chemistry, because when you guys come together for this emotional moment, at first I thought she was gonna grab his crotch. I was like, okay, where's the hand going? And then she hugs him. She like, it's not like if you really going through it, like I'm hugging on to my boo, my daddy. I don't know about like we haven't talked about her calling him daddy in a very long time. But just that scene with the way she was acting like a little girl, calling him daddy don't land the same for me. It don't land like when you were sitting there acting like a little girl. But daddy, can you have him come back home? What is happening right now? It don't land the same. Wasn't it Ashley Darby? We were just talking about Ashley and her daddy issues. Which one works in the office? That's the other one. That's the other son. But Buddy did end up working not working. I think he just came there as a part of his like internship or something like that. But he's not the one that's becoming a dentist. Right, Jermaine says not sexy at all. It was weird. I had to take back the Emmy because that performance was weird. You know what I mean? Okay. Guys, just joining us. We're talking about episode 2 of Married to Medicine season 12. Was there any? So Toya and Eugene are also talking about in their separate scene with about Dr. Heavenly running for office, and she's like, "Are you going to vote for her?" And Eugene's just like, "Well," and very much what you guys have said in defense of Dr. Heavenly running. Well, look who's in the presidential office right now. All these people that don't have the skill set are running. Look, if she's serious about it, good for her. But I agree with Toya. Would I personally be voting for Dr. Heavenly? No. I'm going to be honest. Just based off the strength of things that she's recently said. But I would have to know all the facts first. I would do my homework before deciding on that. But she's not in my district. She's not even in my state. But based off what I've seen of her on this show and what they literally show a montage of Dr. Heavenly and some of the problematic things that she said on Married to Medicine in recent years. So I don't blame Toya for being like, I wouldn't be voting for her. Like, who's crazy enough to vote for her? Toya carried the first episode and she carried the second episode for me. Okay. So let's move on. Dr. Contessa and Dr. Scott in their new building. I know some people are going to say this is a plot and a plan. This is a storyline. There's nothing really happening. No, I believe this is a real storyline. And I actually don't mind that we're talking about medical real estate that they just bought. It's something, if you ever dealt with construction, then you know that these are real things that happen where they tell you one thing and it ends up being another. Like 9 times out of 10, whatever deadline they gave you, you're not going to make it. So Dr. Contessa she really is the one spearheading this build out. Based off the edit, it makes it seem like Scott doesn't really know what's going on. He don't know what the budget is. She's the one paying them. Apparently, they had to leave their other office, so now that's why you see her working from home, because they bought this. It's a big, beautiful building. It's a nice building. I don't mind this as a storyline because this is real. This is something still related to medicine. And again, this is a proud moment for them. They bought this beautiful space. They are doing it as Black people in the Beverly Hills. I don't know if it's true. The Beverly Hills of that part of Atlanta. So I'm happy for them. And I also love HGTV. So I don't mind seeing this process and them talk about the struggles. They've cashed out their 401ks and there's been delay after delay. They meet with their interior designer. Apparently they were talking with Eugene and Toya about renting out one of the spaces. When they gave a view of the outside, I was like, oh, it's a beautiful building. She still has things that she wants to do, but there's, again, just a lot of delays. And she even lies to Toya, at least based off the edit, that when Toya says, so when would the space be ready? She's like 2 weeks, but they flash back to the interior designer 2 months. I mean, is Toya and Eugene really in a rush? Because isn't he working like 5 hours away? So, okay. Tish, thank you so much for being a member for 2 years. Tish says, I care too much about what happens in the country to vote for Dr. Heavenly. I agree. Who's in her district that can actually vote for her? If you're watching the replay, let us know. And let us know, because based off of what she's described, her other candidate is like 80 something years old. He's been in that position for many, many years. Already I was sort of like, well, maybe they do need a change, but is Dr. Heavenly the change? Okay. So Miss Brooklyn Diamond, I know you know. Miss Brooklyn Diamond says, and thank you again for gifting memberships today. 20 memberships she's gifted. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Brooklyn Diamond. It will be interesting to see how this plays out. Being a landlord can be stressful. Don't I know it? It can. It can. But Miss Brooklyn, you're in the business of the management, right? Of managing for other landlords. I need that. But just saying. Oh, Not Reese says, my uncle lives in her district. Can you ask him some details? Is he watching the election? How does he feel about the person that's currently in the seat? Keith says, I would think the president would be a main reason why reality stars shouldn't be in politics. A perfect example. But here's the thing. In all fairness, a lot of the politicians that you see, a lot, are people that are just passionate and they've learned along the way. Look at our current mayor. Well, the soon to be current mayor. If we went by that logic of someone that doesn't have the experience, people would have voted, and some people did vote for Andrew Cuomo. So it's not necessarily the fact that she doesn't have the experience. I'm garnering my opinion on it based off of some of the problematic things that she said. But that wouldn't be the final deciding factor. Okay. Let me see. Kendra, thank you so much for the super chat. Kendra says, your reenacting this to be seen is priceless. I don't know if YouTube gives away awards for these sort of impersonations, but they need to. We need a YouTube awards, right? But don't make us pay for it. Some of these award things that you have to pay to be a part of it. I'd mention one of them, but I won't. Because that, to me, is not a real award. But okay. Miss Brooklyn says both. I manage and I am a landlord. See, but you have the experience in the patients, but you also understand the annoyance of it, right? I might need to talk to you, Miss Brooklyn Diamond, the next time you come to a New York City show. Anyway, Deborah says the contractor did tell them initially 2 weeks. We don't know how the episode was edited. I agree. I agree. I always give you the disclaimer. I was like, I don't know if that's exactly what happened or what, but I also understand construction. And a lot of these contractors, I feel like it's in their DNA to tell you one thing and then do another. But here we are. Marquita. Sorry, Market. The congressman is essentially just filling a seat and collecting a check. My sister is in her district. Report back. Please report back. Ms. Brooklyn says, all are welcome. We'll gift each time I am on now until the end of the year. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Brooklyn Diamond. Please thank Ms. Brooklyn Diamond if you were gifted a membership up to the channel. Synethia says, sorry, voting for Heavenly is not something I would do. Just saying. Hey, Mel, where you been? I understand life. Mel says, Kempire would get the award for being the most relaxing and calm channel. Thank you. Don't see me on days when I'm not calm, because those days do happen. All right. Real House Husband says she's not going to win. You don't think? I really have no idea about what's happening in that district. I'm almost interested in talking to her about it because I kind of want to know. But here we are. Because I feel like interviews with her, they don't press her. A lot of times people are interviewing her and just giving her a platform to regurgitate, her platform. And part of me sort of like, well, no, if I'm going to talk to you about it, I'm going to challenge you on a few of the things that you've said. I'm going to challenge you on your experience. I'm going to challenge you on your candidate, your opponent's experience. But, Mel said he loves the hat. Go to houseofkempire.com. It's spelled HAUS of Kempire.com. Yes, this is a limited edition. So I don't even know if it's still available, but go check it out. Are You Okay? Merch is available as well. Okay. All right, back to this. Let me move on. So Dr. Contessa first of all, bring Audra back. Bring Audra back. Bring Audra back. Sorry, Audra, I shouldn't have invited you to my Atlanta show. I didn't even think about it until this very moment. There's so many people in Atlanta that I thought of it last minute to invite, and I was like, oh, wait. I should have invited you to my Atlanta show. Because we're always talking about Audra. Audra was the real estate attorney that helped finalize Dr. Contessa and Dr. Scott's deal. Because when they flash back to it, you see Audra there. And I've heard that Audra really mixes and mingles with this cast still. So I really do believe Audra will make a return. It's too early to say how we feel about the newbies. It's too early to say. Because we don't really have a lot. Like this week, we got introduced to Brandy a little bit. I like Brandy so far, y'all. I'm not going to say I love her because, next week it can be a whole other thing. But so far, I like Brandy. Okay, sidebar. So you may have seen last week's episode. Let me play for you Brandy's response to Dr. Jackie calling out her thyroid. She's like, okay, let me just play it for you. Please hold. We're playing this under fair use, so you're going to hear an echo. Calm down.
So I just got off of work, been seeing patients all day, just put the kids to bed, but had to address some of this married medicine craziness, okay? Which I roll in there with my little cute pink dress. I think I look beautiful, meeting all these people for the first time, and then out of the blue I get asked, is your thyroid enlarged? And I'm like, did she just ask me that? Did she ask me that in public? Is she being shady? Yes, she is. But this does create an opportunity to take this a little bit further than being petty, further than being shady, anything like that, is we can talk about a bigger issue, which more than 20 million Americans suffer for some type of thyroid condition. And 60% have no clue like me. I had no clue until I was pregnant with my twins. My labs went crazy, my hormones went crazy, like everything went out of whack. I now know that I have a condition that I never knew about, and my hormones exacerbated it, right? So that's why this is such an important issue. It's important to have these conversations so that we're educated and we're made aware, right? I've been a nurse practitioner for 15 years. Like, I educate my patients. Like, we really dive deep into what's going on with them. We do comprehensive lab work. I've diagnosed so many people with thyroid conditions that they never knew even existed. So that's why I love what I do. That's why I love pouring into other people. And that's why it's important to watch your words. You never know what somebody else is going through or what their story is. But what we can't do is use our expertise to shame someone else for what they have going on or what we perceive that they have going on. But what you can do is catch us next Sunday on Married to Medicine at 9 o'clock on Bravo and come see your girl at Conquer Aesthetics.
Well, first of all, congratulations to her on having her own medical spa. And the producers listen to you guys because we've been saying for week after week after week, well, season after season after season, there's more to medicine than just medical doctors. There are nurse practitioners. There are so many people that could be featured on the show, and they've listened to you. We've gotten Angel Love, who's a nurse, and now we have a nurse practitioner, Brandy, who I feel has a lot of potential. And I like how she handled this. Well, our friends over at the Neighborhood Talk caught up with Dr. Jackie. Dr. Jackie did respond in the comment section. Do I have the I did a short video on it. You can see what Dr. Jackie said. But Neighborhood Talk caught up with her, and this is what she said on the red carpet for their Married to Medicine premiere party.
Feel like he was just in doctor mode all the time. If I could have just reached out and pulled up, I don't know why right then, but I was staring. I was literally staring, and the doctor just spoke at the wrong time in the wrong place. I own it totally. It was definitely no shade. And you know when we do shades, we find other attributes. It ain't medical when we throwing shade.
No, because it feels like maybe you weren't throwing shade, but again, what was another, according to you, menopausal moment when you did this to Buffy? Has Buffy talked about this? Because you know Buffy's going to talk about this. And y'all going to be like, oh, here go Buffy. No, Buffy has a right to talk about this, okay? Dr. Contessa, did you pay Buffy back on her lawyer's fees yet? Just saying. But Dr. Jackie, this is what you do. You have a pattern.
So it really was not intended to offend her. I actually reached out to her and said, I thought we were good. I didn't know we were. I'm sorry.
So you, in the moment, it was settled, but once it aired, is that when you feel like it became the most problem?
Yeah, because we had talked about it. And she never said, she said it. I even kept saying, I am so sorry. So, but that's what you do. Got to get your name out there.
You see what she just said? You got to get your name out. She's claiming that Brandy responding to this is just her basically clout chasing off of you. I'm glad that Brandy said something.
Got to be relevant somehow. And if I can help you, I can help you.
If you got to be relevant somehow, this is why you apologizing. This takes away from your apology. Ms. Brooklyn Diamond says, I would assume that an NP nurse practitioner would know if she has a thyroid problem. What was the point in bringing it up? And even if you had real concerns, first of all, you're filming and you're a pro. You're a pro. She's trying to get clout off of you. You're a pro. So you know what? I'm going to pull her to the side and ask her because I have concerns. Maybe she doesn't know. You are a doctor. You've been doing this for a very long time. You more than anyone should know about time and place. You should know about HIPAA of it all. She's not your patient, but you are giving medical attention at this particular point. Coco Vibration says, Dr. Jackie, are you okay? She's not. She's not done either. Hold on.
Yeah, no problem. We're typically laughing and playing and talking about things out of scene. And then when you get back in scene, the audience didn't hear those conversations. So oftentimes they feel like shady conversations, but we already had the conversation. And then some of the ladies will take an opportunity to turn you into an example when I had already talked to you about some issues.
It's like both of y'all. More people I meet, it's like, oh, I see Dr. Jackie. Oh, I see. It's like both of y'all. Everybody knows y'all.
Let me take that down because you know how Bravo can be. So that was Dr. Jackie's response. That was Dr. Jackie's response. Guys, I know that's not how HIPAA works, but it's still a policy about privacy. So her of all people should know how that works. Okay. I literally in my definition of what I was saying here, I said this is not HIPAA because she's not her patient, but she of all people knows what HIPAA is. She knows what medical privacy is. Thank you. All right. Keith, thank you so much for the super chat. Keith says, you can tell Dr. Jackie has never been cussed out because what happened to hello, how are you as an introduction? Jackie is nice, nasty. Not even nice, nasty at this particular point. It's just nasty. Just nasty. All right. Thank you, Teach, for the super chat. Teach says this was her chance to do better and she failed again. Exactly. I think Dr. Jackie is one of those people that you can't correct her. And when you correct her, she's going to have some sort of excuse. Exactly. V says, HIPAA or not, it doesn't sound right coming from a doctor. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to the episode. Let's get back to the episode. So we had that scene with Dr. Contessa and Dr. Scott. Dr. Scott doesn't seem to know what the budget is because she's like, she's telling him, even with the delays and even with the amount of money that we spent on this property, we're still ahead of the game. We're still, with the value of the places, are still doing better. Okay, apparently she's the one overseeing everything and managing this entire process. All right, moving on from there. Okay, so Toya and Simone visit Brandy. Speaking of Brandy, at Brandy's office where she has, her medical spa. So they're coming there to have like a little bit of a girls' day to get some microneedling, things like that. Okay, so Toya, first of all, the lady at the front desk was gorgeous, and Toya compliments her. And when she sees Brandy, she's like, Eugene was right. You know what? You should only get Botox from pretty people. So she's like, oh, thank you for that. So Brandy's business is, as I mentioned to you before, is the medical spa, but she's worked with people like Dr. Damon Daddy. And she'd say, don't nobody can say anything negative about Dr. Damon Daddy. Okay. We also find out a little bit more about Brandy. She's a wife, but she's also a mother of 4. Wow. Okay. And she's working and she's running this business. Okay. What does her husband do? Did they mention? Because we've seen the husband. He was a part of last week's episode, and then he was also a part of meeting up with the guys. Do we know? I forgot what they said that he does. I believe they said it last week. If you remember, let me know in the chat. But here's the thing. What we didn't expect to happen in this scene was that Toya gets a phone call, and it's from her son, and apparently their dog of 18 years drowned in the pool. Oh, no. I felt for Toya. Because, Toya, she's a little bit more, she's like a hard shell on the outside, but even that broke her. She didn't want to start bawling, but like the tears just couldn't help but come out. And she probably also felt a little guilt because she had put the dog outside, and the dog usually lets the nanny know, who's really part of the family, that to let her back on in. And the housekeeper went outside and she couldn't find her. She was like, where is she? She didn't look in the pool. And apparently the dog ended up dying. Sad. Really, really sad. But why did Toya put on a funeral that was better than any of these events? Look, her event, that little funeral for the dog was beautiful. So Toya, the next scene, Toya, first of all, in that moment in Brandy's office, she's like, can we do anything to make you feel better? She's like, I'm in a little alcohol. So Dr. Simone starts laughing. Oh, he's a sales executive. Okay, thank you guys in regards to Brandy's husband. So the next scene, we have Toya's dog funeral. This funeral was beautiful. So the cast comes, including Dr. Heavenly. We hadn't seen Dr. Heavenly in part of the group. Okay. They've had the dog for 18 years. I didn't see anything wrong with this funeral. Okay. So, and the timeline of Dr. You know how we were just giving Dr. Heavenly grace and said, well, maybe they filmed weeks later and they just inserted this. But apparently the party was just last week in regards to party that Mimi hosted, where they were talking about her Dr. Heavenly. So something's not adding up when it comes to the timeline. So this is like a real human funeral. I thought this was a beautiful funeral. Beautiful funerals, which led to everyone talking about their own dogs. Dr. Mimi said that they just lost a dog after having the dog for 15 years or something like that. That's a long life. If you've had your dog that long, Toya had her dog for almost 20 years and probably would have had the dog longer because, that was a freak accident. So they have this beautiful, I have to say, you saw Eugene get choked up because they've had the dog for so long. And dogs are just so, they love you no matter what, even when you're mean to them. Toya talks about, I guess usually she would, yell at the dog for pooping. So apparently the dog must have pooped on the carpet. But the dog is also 18, so probably why. So she says that she just cleaned it up, but you could tell the dog was sort of looking at her, thinking that she was going to, yell at her or something like that. And Toya says she didn't yell at her, she just cleaned it up, and she's glad that wasn't her last memory with her. I have to say, that was probably my favorite scene of the episode because it was so heartfelt. It was really, really beautiful moment. I have to say, the whole church setup. What church did y'all get to do this doggy funeral? I thought it was really, really beautiful. And Eugene speaking, her speaking, it was just my favorite part of the episode. And it was such a beautiful event. And them bringing their dog, I thought was really nice. All right. So Toya and Contessa are in the car. This is where Contessa tells Toya that they just need 2 more weeks to get them in there. Then they flash back to the interior designer saying 2 more months. I don't know. All right. So damn, we're already almost at the end of the episode. What happened? Oh, damn. All right. Well, today's live show is brought to you by our friends over at Cash App. It's the holiday season, and unfortunately, scams are on the rise. I'm so excited to welcome Cash App as a sponsor of today's live. And I've been using Cash App more recently than ever before. And I haven't realized the amount of new things that they've added to the app to secure my safety and your safety. Now more than ever, with the holiday and all these different scams that are out there, you want to make sure when sending money to your friends, family, or someone you owe money, easily and safely. Scammers know the holidays are busy for everyone, which can make us all targets for scams. That's why Cash App builds in protection to help keep your money safe while you're checking off your shopping list. If you're about to send money to someone for a deal that's too good to be true and Cash App flags it as a potential scam, they'll warn you before you send the money. Cash App also gives you an extra layer of protection with features like security lock. You can require a PIN, Face ID, or fingerprint to unlock your account and move money, so even if someone gets a hold of your unlocked phone at a holiday party, your money is right where you left it. Give yourself some peace of mind this holiday season and download Cash App. I've literally have utilized the Cash App feature recently a lot and noticed the new protections that they've added to the app. So, of course, we've gotten you covered in regards to an exclusive code. For a limited time only, new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code to earn additional cash. For real. Just download Cash App, use our exclusive referral code, SECURE10, in your profile, send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. We all love free money, don't we? Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services are provided by Cash App's bank partners, prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC, promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Incorporated brand. And visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures. More information on Cash App and your code will be available in the description. And we're back. Shout out to Cash App. More information on Cash App and everything Kempire will be available in the description or episode notes. I just wanted to highlight some comments. When Eugene said that basically their dog was like their first kid. So he felt like that dog really taught them how to be parents. And I was like, oh, and you could tell he was getting a little emotional. Real House Husband says it's not much going on. You can wrap this up and go get something to eat. Thank you. I already dropped the call-in link for members of the channel, so if you want to call in and share your thoughts on the latest episode of Married to Medicine, let's get into the sexy party, dancing party that Dr. Jackie's the host of. Okay, so she told everyone to come dressed sexy in their heels. Why did Quad show up showing off her cakes? I was like, oh, this is a lot. Okay, but they're trying to be sexy. Okay. Apparently, Mimi was a dancer in college, a trained dancer. Dr. Heavenly was like, you can't tell. Dr. Contessa comes in and she does a split. Dr. Heavenly says, Contessa, don't split her ass up. Close it up. I was impressed. I didn't know she could do a split. I was like, all right, fine. Then they end up playing a game. They're always going to end up playing some sort of game. And Dr. Jackie's like, who snoops through their husband's phone? Toya's like, I do. And then she exposes her parents had a cheatation situation. I think her dad cheated on her mom. So she talks about that. Then Dr. Jackie sends a direct comment to Dr. Simone and said Dr. Simone would not have gone to Quad's party even if she had received a earlier invite. And Dr. Simone, that's not true. It was a last minute invite, and which in turn for her felt like Quad really didn't want her to be there. So Quad says that the invite was in part shade, and that's because Simone has shaded her first. I don't know what triggered Simone. Again, we're watching an edited show. But it felt like she went from 0 to 1,000 in 0.2 seconds. Because I was like, okay, why are we yelling? Why did we go from her saying, I did shade you, and all of a sudden, like, oh, and starts pointing her finger. Mind you, they're sitting right next to each other. Starts pointing her finger at Quad. All of a sudden, Quad starts crying. Excuse me? Quad, I really try. I don't know why you doing this to me. I don't know why you doing this. She starts bawling. And then all of a sudden, Dr. Simone starts crying. Like, I don't know. I'm like, what is happening right now? What, who, what, where? What is happening? I'm not understanding. I didn't understand why Quad was crying, and I definitely didn't understand why Dr. Simone was crying. And the rest of the cast is just sort of like, this is like watching a soap opera. One minute they're fighting, the next minute they're crying, the next minute they're friends. But eventually, somehow, some way, these ladies are able to drop the issue. Please drop the issue for the rest of the season, because if you guys end up fighting again this season, I am so over it. I do not care. I was glad to see them make peace during this episode. I was just like, okay, we can't go back here. I still don't even know what y'all fighting about. Oh, because Dr. Simone talked about you not being able to pay your house. Understandable why Quad would be mad at you, though. All right, fine. Oh, gosh. Lady says that it's menopause. You think? For which one? Because isn't Quad trying to have a baby? I hope it's not menopause. Okay. Just saying. RC, thank you so much. Oh, I got a shimmy. Thank you, RC, for the $50 super chat. RC says, from HIPAA, public diagnosis of non-patient health providers are not permitted to disclose any identifiable health information about patients without their consent. This includes making public diagnoses of individuals who are not their patients. Oh, not you coming through with take that for those ones like, it's not HIPAA. She also takes an oath as a doctor to, not to disclose things like that. Let's take the medical side out of it. Just as a doctor who has this experience, you should know better. Even if this is not your patient, whatever it may be, as someone that first of all, someone that has been dragged before for calling out somebody with their health issues, you of all people should know better. So thank you, RC. RC says, from HIPAA, Public diagnosis of non-patients, healthcare providers are not permitted to disclose any identifiable health information about patients without their consent. This includes making public diagnoses of individuals who are not their patients. Thank you, RC. It's been a while since I've read the HIPAA stuff because I used to be involved in that business. But thank you. Fit Gal Tia. Thank you so much for the super chat. Fit Gal says, I would have asked Jackie if she was up to date with her HPV vaccinations. Her husband having multiple partners puts her at risk, and we wouldn't want another C scare. Okay, now, Fit Gal, now I feel like you've gone a little too far. I did not proofread that before because this is live, but Fit Gal, come on. I think that's a bit much. But we will be talking about Curtis. Lord. Right? The Keeper Day says, damn. Just saying. Miss Foodie says, ooh. Miss Brooklyn says, is there a confrontation in which Quad does not cry? No. Okay. All right, y'all. Let's move on. So then let's flash before we get to the end with Heavenly and Toya. The husbands are hanging out and they're talking about how to survive in this group. As you know, Brandy's husband's there and he's like, how do I survive in this group? Okay. All right. So in Eugene, he's just like, you just gotta sort of like go along. He's like, we're all married to a bunch of alphas. He says that you have to move stealthily when dealing with your wives. So King asked her, what do you think what if you think that they're wrong? So that made me think, so what does he think Quad is doing wrong? Okay. And Eugene says you have to just go, you have to support them. You still have to go along with it. So this is Curtis's reason for, he's like, oh, so that's why you didn't say anything when Toya said what she said on Watch What Happens Live. So reminder, Toya said on Watch What Happens Live that Curtis grabs a few people on the cast. And then they flash back to when Curtis grabbed her and pulled her into his lap. Okay, that Dr. Jackie blamed her for. Okay. So, I found it to be interesting that he wants Eugene to get involved with Toya and tell her what she did there was wrong. But Eugene's like, but I don't think what she did was wrong. And what she said was the truth. We all saw it, Curtis. I don't know why Dr. Jackie or Curtis want to change the narrative. Now it's a storyline. Okay, now are we going to be revisiting things from the past? Is it conveniently you guys making a bigger issue of this when we saw it ourselves? V-Life says, Curtis, cut it out. The V-Life says, Curtis, cut it out. Dr. Jackie, cut it out. Cut it out, okay? Exactly. Patricia says, but that is old. Why are we going back that far? And the only reason why I think that they would go back this far is that they're either delusional or they're trying to make it an issue so that they have something to talk about. So we're not talking about him going to the DR. Apparently, he's not going anymore. So here we are. Okemia says, I'm May 13th Taurus and I never cry. Let's not do that. Well, not at least not publicly. Not as much as Quad cries. When's Quad's birthday? May something. Cute Potatoes. Shout out to everyone watching on Twitch, guys. So shout out to our Twitch fam. Cute Potato on Twitch says, man, bye, Curtis. So Curtis expects Eugene to say something to Toya about what she said on Watch What Happens Live. But what Toya said was the truth. So Curtis is like, I don't know why you would have an issue. What she said was the truth. Sir? So Keith says, so he's cheating locally then?
That's really upsetting to me, so I'd appreciate it if you didn't say that.
So that is Curtis's issue this season with Eugene. All right. So back at the ranch, the ladies are having a conversation and Heavenly brings up Toya talking about her. Toya says that Heavenly doesn't even know how to maintain friendships and she's running for office. No lies told. Say what you want about Toya, no lies told. Okay. So Heavenly then asks Toya, do you even know what a state representative does? Dr. Heavenly, I hate to say this, but a lot of people in the United States have no idea what a state representative does. Not saying that they should be proud of that, but you trying to switch it around to Toya, does she know even what a state representative does, doesn't change the fact what Toya was saying about, I wouldn't vote for you because of things that you said and done. And production showed all the different examples. And those are just some. Okay? So here we are. So, of course, this especially Heavenly, you're conducting yourself like this on reality television. Cannot, like, people are not going to want to vote for someone that's screaming on reality television. So it looks like she wants to fight. You do know Toya's from the D, right? You ain't trying to fight her, but you know what it is. You know Toya's not going to hit you, that you know of, because you saw her and Audra. So she's look like she's bucking up her chest to Toya, screaming, and she was like, "And do me a favor, keep my family's, my son's name out of your mouth," because she heard that Toya was talking about his legal troubles. Everybody was talking about his legal troubles, Dr. Heavenly. And Toya finds it funny that Heavenly would even utter those words to them, because she's like, you're always talking about us and our families. Okay, but has she talked about your kids? Maybe. I can't remember. I can't keep up with everything that she said. Okay. Okay. So that was it. That's how the episode ended. It was a fight. It was this argument between Heavenly and Toya. But that's good. Look, we've talked for almost an hour. Do we have anybody backstage, members? Okay, if you're a member of the channel, I dropped the call-in link for you guys on the community tab. I don't know if I made that announcement. Live chat, we're almost at 300 likes. Once we get to 300 likes, I will drop the call-in link for you guys as well. And then I gotta go, because look, I got other things to do. Okay, thank you so much for 300 likes, y'all. Let me drop the call-in link. Oh, I froze. But matter of fact, I should just stay like this. Because look, this is no, I did not change the wire. Shut up. Y'all saw it was fine the entire RHOP live. It was fine the entire RHOP live. I promised to change it before the new year. Oh, goodness, but it was fine. Okay, it was fine. I do have the thing to change. I need to test it first. Anyway. Margaret says Heavenly's son is not a kid. Well, that part. Kendra, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Kendra says, we now know why Curtis and Dr. Jackie are married. Neither are accountable. Curtis pulled Toya in his lap. Eugene always rides for Toya. But now I'm thinking that this is just a scheme for them to have some sort of argument for the season. Some sort of fight, because they know that we've seen this. They've shown it multiple times throughout the years, this scene. So, Keviana says, Kemp and this wire is killing me. It didn't stop. Y'all can still hear me. Bloop. Bootleg. I feel like oh, quiet. Ooh, crying. All right. Oh yeah, Patricia said Dr. Mimi with that dropping in her heels. She says there's a different Dr. Mimi after dark. Okay. Ty says Kempire, stay buffering. I'm not buffering. You can still hear me. Okay, you can still hear me. Just saying. Unless it really is buffering for you, then come out of the YouTube app and come back. Oh, Tress says, is it the hormones for Quad? Okay, we didn't think about that, but we've seen Quad even before the hormones. She does this, but you never know. It could be. It very much could be. But something to consider, right? All right, let's get to the caller so I can go. I got things to do today. And you're right, I need to eat something. Whew, excuse me. So bored. All right. Ooh, Rosalie says, but Toya did it to tempt Curtis? She's not blameless either? Excuse me? What did she do to tempt Curtis? Go in front of him? Oh, no. That sounds like you blaming the victim. No. What is happening? All right, let me bring up Wendy. All right. Please keep in mind the opinions of the callers do not represent the opinions of myself, the Kempire LLC, or our sponsors. Wendy, what did you want to say about the latest episode of Married to Medicine?
Hey, Kempire, how you doing?
How are you?
I'm fine. I just want to talk about Toya's dog because I do feel bad for her. And for that dog to be old, like 18 years old, I really think it was something physically wrong with the dog. And the dog just went ahead and did itself in. That happens. It happened to one of my friends. Her dog was sick and the dog ran away because he knew it was dying. So so I'm thinking that's probably what it was because dogs usually know how to swim.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say that. The other parts, I was like, okay, I'm not entertained. I gave it a 4.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thanks,
All right,
Wendy.
that's it.
Take
All right,
care.
bye.
Bye. Yeah, how would I rate this week's episode? Somewhere in like the 4 to 6 range. Probably 6 just because off the strength of Toya's funeral. Wow. All right. Tyler's backstage. Tyler, what did you want to share about Married to Medicine?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
I want to say this, and I'll continue to say it. It is time for Simone and Jackie to go. It's not about their age. It's about that they just can't connect with I guess those girls aren't they have youthful spirits, put it like that. They just can't connect with them anymore. And Simone just does not understand that Quad has 2 separate lives. Quad looks at this as a job. You do formulate relationships with your coworkers and you love them. However, when I go home and I'm not working, there's no connect. And Simone needs to let it go. It's like because Quad is never going to see the issue because you don't even deal with her in your life, other than in your real life. I mean, let it go. Take care of those kids. You spending all that money on them grown kids. And
They're
last
gonna
but
talk about
not
that.
least,
They're gonna talk about that next week, apparently.
right, and he can't even afford to get his face shaved. Did you see how scruffy he was? And he's almost 30. I'm sorry, it's time to cut the leash. He's 27. But last but not least, the last caller mentioned about the dog. She's not lying. My grandpa's dog unfortunately did the kind of something similar, not jumped in the pool, but she made herself, basically offed herself. I don't want to use those words on YouTube, but she did. And we had her for 20 years, and she did do that. Once she was sick, she unfortunately did that. But I don't foresee myself watching Married to Medicine anymore this season. It's kind of dull. And to be honest, it's because of the doctors. I mean, Quad has things going on. Toya is going to always instigate. I like Dr. Mimi. I really like the addition of Brandy. Would love to see more of Angel. I think it's time for Simone and Jackie to go and pack it up. Jackie looked like a fool trying to squat down. Looked like Tales from the Crypt trying to. Never mind. All right. Thank you. Have a great one.
Bye, Tyler. Stop. Y'all are wrong. Okay. Lovely C's backstage. Lovely C, what did you want to share about Married to Medicine?
Hey, Kempire again.
Hey.
I hollered when I seen Toy out there in that pool and Eugene walking through the door talking about he need her to be in the bed. You like you was gonna fall over. I feel sorry for the dog. I don't know if that dog off himself because Toya said he pooped on her rug and she looked at him and she put him out the door. Maybe he thought he was going to spanking and he just didn't want to get a spanking. I don't know. Jackie and trying to twerk like grandma. Grandma shouldn't twerk. Um Toya in the funeral. Toya, I think you should put your money on something different than that because Eugene is working himself into the ground. Maybe you should start your own tequila line.
Doesn't she? She has a wine thing.
That's partner. I don't know what Toya doing. She drink tequila. She should start a tequila line. And with Quad and her scammer looking boyfriend or whatever, you came for sweet tea saying that she was can't be fertile. Now look at you. Now the tables and turned back around. Now you getting shots. Eugene and Curtis uses a slinky link. You always touching women, and who knows what else you're doing because I'm quite sure you probably want a woman with some meat because Dr. Jackie ain't nothing but a little bone. Um, and that's basically all it is. And with Heavenly and Toya, Toya is totally correct. Heavenly is a vicious, nasty person. And I don't see anybody voting for her. But then again, we had people to vote for the orange burnt face man. So we never know how it's going to go. But that's all I got.
Thanks, Lovely C. All right, Amina's backstage. We're going to bring Amina up next. Amina, what did you want to share about Married to Medicine?
Hi, Kempire. I'm so traumatized by this chat in the callers and about the dog self-exiting. I never knew that was a thing. That's really sad if that's true. But it's
Yeah.
also, I mean, it's sad. And I never knew that dogs did that.
Me either.
But I have a take that is a bit rogue that I paid attention to in this. For me, this episode was boring. The only thing that was good was the funeral.
Yeah.
When Dr. Mimi talked about when she met her husband, he had that little dog. She said that it was his dog.
Yes.
She said it was specifically it was his dog. And if I was still in my single days and I went on a day and I met a guy who was really large and he was really flamboyant in a particular type of way, and then I met his dog that was a tiny little dog and it was called Louis after Louis Vuitton, I would have thoughts, the same thoughts that came into my mind when I saw TJ in that blouse. Those are the thoughts that come into my, because what big man has a dog like that? What big man has a dog like that and calls him Louis? That stood out to me, but I don't want to be that person. But it was giving me TJ. It was giving me TJ in a blouse. That's all, Kempire. Let me go before I say anything else.
Goodbye, Reno. Okay, let's bring up Mel. Mel, what did you want to share in regards to Married to Medicine?
Hey, Mr. Kempire, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. First of all, I want to say I've grown to love Toya. I really, because I'm just thinking after all these years, she is still so interesting. Love her or dislike her, she really makes good TV, and she's kind of underestimated for the show because she really is. The seasons where she was fussing about her marriage and fussing with the other ladies, and also fussing with Mariah the first season,
Yeah.
she's really good. I don't always like her, but she's doing. I like that she's doing a good job. Now, Dr. Jackie. You know what? Dr. Jackie needs to stop. Dr. Jackie truly is just one breath away from being an octogenarian herself. She needs to stop her messy ways before one day she wakes up in a nursing home fighting for her last jello. This woman has really been unhinged for the past couple of years. I think Mariah clocked her tea since season one. And also her husband. I mean, listen, it is on camera. We're not saying that you went and had an affair with Toya, but you did touch the woman inappropriately, and I'm glad that Toya's husband, said this is what happened. You just need to own it. It wouldn't be a big storyline if the two oldest people on the cast would act as wise as their age tells, act as wise as their birth certificate tells the people. Like really, they need to stop. They're making it man out of the molehill. The man was inappropriate, and that's it. So, and also the show was, it was mid, but I really did enjoy Toya. I'm surprised, but she really was the MVP for me this episode.
Most definitely. Thanks, Mel, for calling in.
Okay.
Bye. Hold on, wait. Where's that comment? Damn, I lost the comment. Hold on. Let's see. Danny says, I don't get that vibe from Mimi's husband. I didn't either until she was pointing out. So I was like, wait a minute. Wait, where's the other one? Oh, Diana says, let that man love his little dog and his Louis Vuitton. All right? Come on. And personally, not me getting smaller. Please hold. There we go. And I personally love a big dog. So those stereotypes aren't necessarily true. Just saying. There we go. Let me fix this. Okay, there we go. Diana says, let the man love his little dog and Louis Vuitton. I mean, I don't know if I love Louis Vuitton, but I like Louis Vuitton. Just saying. All right, let's move on. Let me bring up Michael. Michael, what's going on?
Hey, Kempire. I was just gonna say two things, one about Heavenly and one about Simone.
Okay.
But since everybody was sharing about their dogs, I think it is true because my cousins had a dog and they lived in an apartment and they kept the dog tied up on the little patio, which was like a balcony, and everybody told them about it. The dog was always in the sun.
Oh
It
my
was
God.
like unhealthy, emaciated, like it was like super skinny and stuff. And one day that dog just said, I'm out of here, and literally like resolve the issue, so to speak, without
Mm,
seeming insensitive.
yeah.
And I just felt like that's a real thing. And to be fair, we were actually happy that the dog was no longer living in misery.
Oh my
But
God.
and somebody did call, authorities on them, so it
Mm,
was taken care of.
mm,
But in regards to Dr. Heavenly, I really don't understand why people dislike her so much. Like, I just want to say this. when they founded this country, the whole like point of the system of government was to eliminate the ruling class. They wanted farmers and blacksmith and people who were in everyday society to actually run their government, to represent themselves. And so Dr. Heavenly, even if you may not like her, being as experienced as she is and a real person, not a professional or political politician, she is exactly the type of person that we want to represent us. She's a real human being with real life problems, as we've seen in the show, and she could stand up for us. Like sometimes we need to put aside our individual biases for people and elect people that's actually going to fight for us. All that energy that she gives going off on Toya and Mariah and all that stuff, that's the same energy that she will give Republicans in defense of her Democratic constituents. So let's just keep that in mind while we're saying we're not going to vote for her. And finally, I just want to say something about Simone that somebody else told me. They said the reason why Simone got issues with people is because Simone wanted the soft life for herself, but she went and got an education and became a doctor. And she do leave like hints of it, because on season 1, episode 2, when they were introducing everybody at Dr. Heavenly's house, because Dr. Heavenly had a party that year, she said, this is Toya. She married a doctor. I couldn't marry a doctor, so I became a doctor. Like every time she has an issue with someone's finances, it's because they live in a life that she can't live without having to work for it. While as much as I love Cecil, he does not represent the type of gentleman that you would think a doctor would be married to. And I truly love Cecil. And that's it.
Okay. Thanks, Michael, for calling in.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Look, at the end of the day, the good majority of us that are here are not in Dr. Heavenly's district, so we can't vote. However, we always tell you, make sure you're doing your due diligence and educating yourself on all the candidates, okay? Make sure you're watching those debates. Make sure you're checking out their websites. Just saying. I know nothing about the other candidate that she's running against, but I do know a whole lot about Dr. Heavenly. But we shall see. We shall see. Thank you guys so much for all the super chats. Thank you for the cash apps and things like that. We appreciate your support. But you can also support just by liking today's video. And don't forget, you can hear our live recaps and special episodes on the Kempire podcast. Subscribe today. More information on that will be available in the description. Thank you to our King's Guards. Thank you to our channel members. And thank you to everyone that called in. Thank you to everyone that engaged with us in the live chat. And I appreciate it. Oh, Demi called in. Hold on. Let's see. Demi, you'll be our last caller, Demi. What did you want? Demi, you're muted.
Oh my God. Hey, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Real quick. As far as Dr. Mimi's husband's concerned, I would love for us to really get away from like the idea that certain things make people hetero or not heterosexual. Like that's really dangerous actually, and I think we should just stop joking about it because it's not funny. It's not funny, and it could actually be dangerous for him because what if that was a situation he was dealing with or has been rumored to deal with? It's just not a safe thing to say about people. Especially, I know a very masculine guy that has a very cute little dog, little white dog, and they're far from that. Secondly, as far as Jackie is concerned, I think she's very nasty and rude, and I don't care anything about her going through menopause or being 70. Hold them accountable. I know, especially me being a Black woman, I grew up in a culture of respect your elders and all that. Oh, they may say things, but brush it off. No, that's still hurtful, and it's also very demeaning. I don't care how many degrees she has or whose baby she's delivered. She's not exempt from being held accountable. Let's start holding her accountable.
Yep.
Have a great day.
Thanks, Demi. All right, y'all. On that note, I'm out of here. Keep liking the video if you haven't already. Let's continue this conversation in the comments section. I will see you all in the next one. Bye, y'all. Happy holidays. Here
we go now.